When I was 10 years old, I lived in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, western part of the state here with my family, and my grandmother lived with us too. And my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Now, I was 10. I didn't know what that was. I didn't really use those words. I just know that I went to school, she went to the hospital, she had surgery, I came home, she came home a few days later and recovered. And as a 10-year-old, I was kind of clueless. About a year after that, we moved to Pittsburgh to be closer to my parents' jobs and in the city where my mom loved to be. And we hadn't lived there but a year, and I came home from school one day, and my mom was at the door, very unusual, and she told me that my dad had suddenly died on a business trip while he was away. And I'm like, okay, I'm the youngest of 4 kids. So she told my oldest sister, my brother, my other sister, and me, and her mother-in-law this news in a day. Somehow, my mom managed to make funeral arrangements, got us all on a plane to Massachusetts.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not working anyway.
It's not? No. Okay. She got us on a plane to Massachusetts where the funeral was going to be, found appropriate clothing for all of us to wear, went through the wake, the queen of a drama she wanted no part of, and managed to get us all back to Pittsburgh on another long plane ride home. And that night when we got back to Pittsburgh was the first night we all heard my mom cry in the entire week.
Sorry.
Now, she just lost the love of her life, but you also have to know she was absolutely terrified of flying. And I can't imagine what cocktail and Valium combination got her through those flights, but she managed. At the end of the school year, she moved us back to Massachusetts to be nearer to family, which was a good thing. She found a 2-family house where my grandmother could live on the first floor and my siblings, my mom and I, on the 2nd and 3rd floor. She found a job, she got my sister into her first year at Boston University, and life went on. Well, about a year later, she sat us all down and said, my cancer has come back. And I'll tell you at this point, whatever little bit of God I still thought about or believed in is like, what the fuck, So, but what are you going to do? So I went to school, she went to the hospital, she had surgery. But this time I think the doctors who thought, okay, here's a widow with 4 kids and a mother-in-law to take care of, let's throw everything at her that we've got. And back then, truly, they really didn't know what to do with ovarian cancer, and I don't know that they really do anymore or at this point. But she had surgery. They actually implanted radioactive pellets into her at the site of the cancer. I came home from school. She came home a couple days later and recovered from the surgery and then started chemotherapy. It was a long, long winter, as I'm sure you can imagine. Well, spring came around, and it was Easter. Now, one of the few things I did in my life back then was I played the French horn. And there weren't a lot of French horn players in this town, so I played with my middle school band, I played with a high school marching band, I played with a private academy orchestra, and with a small brass quartet. And we had been invited to play at a small New England church on Easter morning. My mom loved Easter and Christmas. She wasn't religious, she was pretty much an atheist. She'd grown up in a congregational church, she knew every verse to every hymn, but she couldn't sing a lick of them. She's totally toe deaf. But she loved Christmas and Easter. I think it was the pageantry, the stained glass windows, the music. And she decided to go to church with me on that Easter when I was playing. She also thought it was very important on Easter to have something new, right? Like a new hat, a new Easter bonnet, a tie, pocketbook, whatever. And so we got new Easter clothes. So I came downstairs in my cute little red skirt that I'd got, and a little top, because I was trying to impress the trumpet player in the brass quartet. And I came downstairs, my mom was coming out of her bedroom. And there she was. And she had some jewelry on, she had some blush and a little lipstick. She had on her new blue Easter dress. And for the first time in many months, she wasn't wearing her wig. Now, when you live in a small apartment with 4 other people, you might not talk about a lot of things, but you know more than you talk about. So you know when your sister has her period, right? And you know when your brother's jerking off in the room next to yours. And you know when your mom has lost her hair. But there she was, standing there, and I thought, wow, we're going to go to church with this. And I thought, okay, on Easter morning, now you have to remember at this time, this is like Charlie's Angel hair kind of time, like the early Charlie's Angel, like Farrah Fawcett, right? Big curl, poof, and all of that. And I thought, if anyone was brave enough and strong enough to show up at Easter morning with just this little cap of hair I mean, it wasn't peach fuzz, it was more than that, but it was just a little cap of hair. It was going to be my mom, because you know what? She was, and still is actually, the bravest person I have ever known. And she's also the most beautiful person I have ever known. I thought she could do this. So there she was, you know, with her new Easter dress on, and she had this little cap of hair, black, but with little gray at the temples now, and a kind of nervous smile on her face. And I tell you, I looked at my mom, and she looked sick.